$7.60. Every second. That's how much the world's top-earning celebrity is making right now, shattering music industry records with a fortune built in under 20 years. But behind from rags to riches lies a billionaire's struggle for control, risky deals, and a contract that almost lost her everything. How did a teenager with a borrowed guitar rewrite the rules? And what price did it cost? Taylor Swift was born on December 13, 1989, in Reading, Pennsylvania, where her family lived in a modest home surrounded by farmland and old rail lines. Her father, Scott, worked as a stockbroker, and her mother, Andrea, had a background in marketing. Though her parents provided steady support, the region faced its own economic struggles, with factory closures and job losses shaping the realities of small-town life. From an early age, Taylor gravitated toward music, singing at school assemblies and local fairs, her guitar a constant companion. She wrote her first song at 12, scribbling lyrics in spiral notebooks and practicing chords in her bedroom. By the time she was 14, the family made a decision that would change everything. They packed up and moved to Nashville, Tennessee, the heart of country music, chasing a dream that seemed out of reach for most kids her age. Taylor spent her days handing out demo CDs on Music Row, performing at open mic nights, and meeting with anyone who would listen. The rejections piled up, but she kept writing, kept showing up, her ambition clear to everyone around her. That persistence paid off when, at just 14, Taylor landed her first publishing deal with Sony ATV. She became the youngest songwriter ever signed by the company, a milestone that gave her access to professional studios and a network of seasoned writers. Her parents cheered her on from the sidelines, driving her to sessions and helping her navigate a world that could be both exhilarating and unforgiving. That first contract didn't make her a star overnight, but it opened the door to everything that would follow and set the stage for the battles over ownership that would define her rise. In 2005, Taylor Swift signed her first recording contract with Big Machine Records. The agreement, typical for its time, gave the label ownership of all master recordings for any album she produced under their banner. For a teenager eager to launch her career, the trade-off seemed standard: studio access and national distribution in exchange for the rights to her own work. Over the next 13 years, Swift delivered 6 albums for Big Machine, each one a commercial success, from her self-titled debut in 2006 to Reputation in 2017. But with every hit, the catalog of masters she did not own grew more valuable. The contract tied her to a 6-album commitment, not a set number of years. While she earned advances and a percentage of royalties, industry insiders estimate 12 to 18% of wholesale revenue. The most lucrative asset, the master recordings themselves, remained with Big Machine. Legal filings and industry experts confirmed that a re-recording restriction was built into the deal, preventing Swift from making new versions of her songs until a set period had passed after the contract's end. This clause, designed to protect the label's investment, would become a flashpoint years later. In June 2019, Big Machine was sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings for $300 million, transferring control of Swift's first 6 albums to a new owner. Swift publicly objected, saying she was never given a fair chance to buy back her work. The sale set off a public feud, with Swift vowing to re-record her old albums once the contractual restriction expired. By 2021, she began releasing Taylor's version albums, shifting streaming and sales revenue away from the original masters and back into her own hands. The business maneuver not only reshaped her income streams, but also sparked a wider debate about artist rights and ownership in the music industry. Touring stands at the heart of Taylor Swift's earning power. The Eras Tour, which spanned continents from March 2023 through late 2024, generated over $2 billion in gross ticket sales. After covering production costs, promoter fees, and crew bonuses, Swift's personal share for the latest 12-month window reached an estimated $190 million to $215 million, according to industry settlement sheets and promoter disclosures. Merchandise sales, both on the road and online, added another $10 million to $18 million, with fans spending an average of $40 per attendee on apparel and collectibles. Streaming royalties form the next major pillar. In 2024, Swift's music drew over 10 billion streams on Spotify alone. Factoring in all platforms and her above-average royalty rates, these digital plays contributed $30 million to $40 million in annual income. Physical and digital album sales, especially around new releases, brought in another $10 million to $15 million. Brand partnerships and endorsements, though fewer in recent years, remain lucrative. Deals with Capital One, Diet Coke, and Apple Music delivered $12 million to $16 million in annualized fees, often structured with bonuses for campaign performance. The Eras Tour concert film, distributed through a direct partnership with AMC and later licensed to Disney+, produced $25 million to $35 million more, thanks to Swift's share of box office receipts and streaming rights. Publishing income from songwriting and catalog licensing added $8 million to $14 million, rounding out a portfolio that touches nearly every corner of the modern music business. Industry analysts reach for a calculator when breaking down Taylor Swift's annual earnings. The methodology is straightforward, but the numbers are anything but ordinary. Start with the trailing 12-month total, $240 million, confirmed by settlement sheets, box office reports, and royalty statements from sources like Forbes and Billboard. To compare this to other celebrities, the figure is divided evenly across every second of the year, no matter if she is performing, sleeping, or in transit. There are 31,536,000 seconds in a standard, non-leap year. The math is simple but stark. $240 million divided by 31,536,000 seconds. The answer is $7.60 per second. This approach strips away the peaks and valleys of touring cycles, album launches, or seasonal campaigns. It ignores whether the cash comes from a sold-out stadium or a late-night stream in another country. Analysts insist on using gross pre-tax income as the numerator and the calendar year's seconds as the denominator, keeping the calculation consistent across all public figures. The result is a number that stands up to scrutiny, a rate that can be measured against the world's highest-paid athletes, actors, and business moguls. In this context, Taylor Swift's $7.60 per second is not just an attention-grabbing headline. It is a transparent, apples-to-apples comparison that confirms her status at the very top of global celebrity earners. Charity checks arrive quietly, often without fanfare. In 2024 alone, Taylor Swift's documented donations exceeded $20 million, supporting food banks, disaster relief, and public schools from Pennsylvania to California. Librarians in her hometown credit a single gift with funding their entire summer reading program. On the Eras Tour, Swift's team delivered envelopes to local food pantries in every city, sometimes doubling the annual budget for organizations that serve thousands. Outspoken. Her public statements have gone beyond simple generosity. She has spoken out against anti-LGBTQ+ legislation in Tennessee, urging lawmakers to reconsider proposals that would limit rights for young people. Swift's advocacy for voter registration and participation has drawn both praise and criticism, but she has remained outspoken, using her platform to call for broader access and representation. Impact. For many recipients, the effect is not just financial. A letter from Swift included with a donation is often framed and hung in a community center, a reminder that her wealth, while headline-grabbing, is also put to work in ways that ripple far beyond the stage. Industry analysts have started to question whether the concentration of wealth among a handful of celebrities is sustainable or even healthy for the broader music business. One music economist quoted in Billboard points out that the same handful of names appear at the top of every earnings list year after year. He says that ownership is everything now, noting that artists who control their catalogs and brand deals pull further ahead with each new contract. The rise of one-off-catalog sales, where artists sell their entire body of work for hundreds of millions in a single transaction, has distorted annual rankings and made true peer comparison more complicated. Some experts argue these windfalls should be averaged over a career, not a single year, to avoid misleading headlines. Others warn that artificial intelligence and direct-to-fan platforms could accelerate the trend, allowing the biggest stars to monetize their voices and likenesses around the clock. The result, according to one analyst, is a winner-take-most system, where the gap between superstars and everyone else keeps widening. While Taylor Swift's business model is widely admired, the debate continues over whether such extreme earning power lifts the industry or leaves too many behind. In the past 12 months, Taylor Swift earned $240 million, an average of $7.60 every second, as confirmed by industry analysts and public filings. Her journey from a 14-year-old signing her first publishing deal in Nashville to regaining control of her master recordings in 2021 marks a rare blend of artistic ambition and business strategy. Yet the full details of her 2005 and 2019 contracts remain partially confidential, leaving some questions about the exact terms unresolved. Swift's $20 million in documented charitable donations and her public advocacy show how immense earnings translate into broader social impact. As new revenue models and emerging technologies reshape the industry, it is clear that the concentration of wealth among a few stars continues to spark debate. What is beyond doubt, Taylor Swift's rise, built on verifiable milestones and public records, has redefined the scale and speed of celebrity earnings in the modern era.